Call up to the gods and reach the sky. The Scourge of Society is now in session. We are back. What the evolution of the Fourth Motherbox podcast was, is now. Today we are here. Apocalypse. Scourge the Earth. The Scorched Earth policy. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. This is an evolution amalgamation of what the two of us want to talk about. I am MetallicA here. One of your co-hosts for almost 4 years, but the Scourge of Society burns everything else down, so let's start anew. Directly across from me, as always, is my co-host, Kyle. Kyle, what the fuck is up?
Hey, I'm happy to be down here in lovely, wonderful Orlando, Florida. I have sunburn in weird parts of my body, and that's, I'll take it because back home it was snowing in Chicago.
Dude, my window's open to my office right now. We're podcasting, the window's open. This is typically what I'm always doing when you and I are on the phone every Sunday morning. Window's open. The weather's beautiful, Kyle. Will you fucking move here already?
Yeah, my wife just said today that she wants to move here. So
happy wife, happy life. There you go. The stupid cliche thing. I hate saying that, but
yeah. Well, this might have to be a reality at some point.
Well, here, commit to it right now. Say it on the first episode of Scourge of Society, Kyle. Break the internet by saying you will move to Florida in a year.
I'll move to Florida in a year.
Look. All you got to do, the catalyst of getting Evan T. Boucher off of Jedi Talk is to get you out here so we can kick him off and get you on. That'll be the easiest thing to do.
Well, yeah, you can move Evan to Chicago, and I'll move here. We'll just trade.
He's from Indiana. Love you, Evan. Evan's going to Japan tomorrow.
Yeah. I saw that. That's going to be an exciting trip for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've known a lot of people who've gone to Japan, and it seems like it's a popular destination, not just for like Disney purposes, but just in general. It just seems like their culture over there is really.
It is. Yeah.
They get a lot to offer, a lot of cool stuff to see. So I'm sure they're going to have a ball.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear from him. He's going out there for Star Wars Celebration and going to check out Tokyo Disney Sea and the Disneyland Park in Tokyo. But you just heard Star Wars, so we'll talk about that sometime on Scourge Society. We're definitely going to talk about theme parks, but just if this is the first time you're ever listening to this podcast, Kyle and I have been doing this together for almost 4 years. We're best friends for 25 or so years. Growing up, went to the same high school. Grew up in Chicago, Illinois. We started this podcast after we watched Zack Snyder's Justice League in April of 2021. We're big DC fans, but the podcast, The Fourth Motherbox, was done, and Scourge of Society was born. We were in an old band named Scourge. That's where the name came from. And the goal of this podcast is just to really not box ourselves in with just comic books and Star Wars. And, we would bleed into other shit that we talked about on Fourth Motherbox, but this just allows us to do more. And it could reach out to many people about, hey, they're just not talking about Zack Snyder's world that's never coming back. So I just want to kind of get you in to know for all that. And this is going to be a much different show than before. And Kyle is here in person, so we're going to be very segmented. The segments you hear today won't always be on Scourge of Society, but they're going to be on for a mainstay. Two shows might go and the segment might come back. It just depends on what Kyle and I have and want to talk about. So with all that being said, Kyle's here and he's visiting the theme parks. So let's get into talking about some theme parks.
Hell yeah.
I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together.
Kyle, you are here in Orlando going to Disney. So this is what this segment's going to be. It's unnamed, by the way. We have to figure out a name for the theme park segment.
Theme park segment?
Yeah. No, we have to come up with something creative, dipshit.
The Walt Review? I don't know.
The Walt Review? No, we're just going to talk more about just
Walt Disney Review, Electric Boogaloo?
No, because we'll be talking about Universal, too, because I'll be at Epic Universe in 13 days, so stay tuned to Scourge Society.
Walt Review and Universal, too?
There you go. Walt Review and Universal, too. I actually like that. Book it. Welcome to Walt Review and Universal, too. Kyle, you're here. You visited 2 parks. You're going to Hollywood Studios tomorrow. You'll hear about that next week, but how the fuck has your Disney World trip been thus far?
It's been great, but I've definitely noticed some changes over the years. And we've started going to Disney back in 2019. We used to start meeting up together when you lived in Arizona.
Yep.
And this kind of like was rose out of the ashes from your wedding when you lived in Arizona, but you decided to get married in Disney World. And after that, we kind of, hit this new, came about this new idea where we would meet together and, go to Disney. And it was just such a blast to plan that every year and come down to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the past 6 years since coming here. I mean, in 2019, I think that was like really the peak trip for me because, while I went to Disney World when I was younger, I just, there was a lot I didn't see. I was primarily just hanging out in the Magic Kingdom and maybe MGM when it was Hollywood Studios was called MGM. And so, just out of the way because I feel like I say it every time I come down here, fuck Genie Plus.
Tell us why.
Fuck Genie Plus.
As annual pass holder, I never buy it, so I honestly don't know how it works that well anymore because I never use it.
It's so bad, and we live in inflation times, and things are really expensive, and it's moving forward. But I have to keep on saying for the younger generation that just doesn't know, fast passes used to be free, and we talk about this, and I feel like I have to keep saying it. It's like some of the things that we talked about in the Fourth Motherplex that I can never let go. Joker 2, Halloween Ends, and fucking fast passes. So, just as a rundown, when this started, it wasn't too terribly expensive. This just came out a couple years ago. And it was like, you can get fast passes, it was like $12 per park, per person.
Right.
And now it's like fucking like $38, $25. It's all over the map per person. And it's the only park that it actually makes sense for is Magic Kingdom because Magic Kingdom has the most to offer. Now, the thing that I don't like about it is that they put these, when you buy it's called multi-pass. So you buy this for the day, and then you get 3 passes to start, and then they tier each ride. And so you get the top tier rides, you only get one, and so you get a number of rides that people usually go to. Now, Magic Kingdom, I'm like blanking on which ones they have, but
Peter Pan's Flight, Seven Dwarfs, Tron, Space Mountain, Tiana's, Winnie the Pooh.
Some of them you can't get. You have to buy a separate Lightning Lane pass.
Tron and Seven Dwarfs.
Tron and Seven Dwarfs. You have to do that for. But in any case, the rest of the day, you have to pick out 2 more. Now, Magic Kingdom, I'd say it's fine. It's still expensive and stupid. But the other parks like Epcot and Hollywood Studios, it's just robbery. It's just bullshit. Yesterday we were at Epcot, and all the rides that you want to ride are in the top tier in the multi-pass. So you can only pick one. So the top tier rides are, Remy's, it is Soaring, it is Frozen, right? And then so you pick those, and then you get 2 more for the rest of the rides that are there. But here's the thing, you never need a fast pass for the rest of the rides. Not typically. And so that's what makes it bullshit. I only used 2 passes for the entire day.
Wow.
And so it was just a big waste of money because after you use your passes, you get another one, but there's just nothing else you could use it towards. And so...
Well, I'm going to stop you right there because the thing I want to hear the most about your Epcot trip yesterday was what happened when you were in queue for your 3rd ride of Cosmic Rewind. Now, I'm going to clip this, Kyle, because I'm going to put this on the internet. I haven't seen anybody talking about this yet, but can you tell us what happened yesterday in Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Walt Disney World?
Yeah, definitely, stop me now from talking about Genie Plus. We'll clip that and say,
yes,
Genie Plus is terrible. Boo on you for Disney for continuing that bullshit. But Cosmic Rewind. So this is the first time it came down and did Cosmic Rewind three times.
Congratulations.
Standby is now up and running, and it's pretty great. We rope dropped it. Got a first one about 30 minutes.
There you go.
Second
Worth
one,
it. So good.
Second one, we hit a lightning lane. Third time we waited in line, it was like 85 minutes. Worth it. But while we were waiting, some 2 ladies in the ride decided to get into a fight with each other, and they like damaged property. They damaged part of the ride. So
They didn't just damage it. That picture you sent me, they cracked the window, like the glass in there.
Yeah, they shattered that.
Shattered
glass.
the fucking glass.
So one of the we didn't see it happen, but we heard it, and so apparently 2 ladies got into a fight, and one of the ladies punched a window in the Cosmic Rewind queue, and like there was a part of the glass missing, so you can see where maybe like the knuckle hit, but the whole glass was like ready to shatter. We walked right past it, and
Here, that. Look, I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened. You didn't see what happened. You heard it and you saw it and you took the picture. I'm going to post a picture on our Instagram, Scourge of Society, on Instagram, all one word, because this infuriates me as a park goer. And again, I don't know what happened, so I don't know if somebody was pushed and it was an accident. But let's just say, for devil's advocate, it was on purpose, because theme park guests tend to be pretty stupid, Kyle.
Yep.
So let's say it was on purpose. What infuriates me is you were telling me that Guardians was down on your way back, leaving out the park. So we can only guesstimate that they shut it down to clean the glass up. So let's just say, for instance, you've got one person who's never been to Disney World before, and their family surprised them with a trip, and the one thing they want to do is Cosmic Rewind. What if the thing that you did, the selfish thing you did, cracking that glass, took that opportunity away from that person? Maybe the only window they had was that time Guardians had to go down and clean up for your stupidity. Disney doesn't belong to you, okay? You don't have a right to anything they do, and I hope those people got a lifetime ban if that was done on purpose.
Well, before we even got on the ride, we were like 60 minutes deep in this queue, and we checked Genie Plus, and we noticed that the ride was closed, and so we assumed that it
That's a good assumption.
They shut down the ride,
That's
but
glass.
To CM's credit, the cast members' credit, they were on it real fast. And there was some guy in line that pointed out the 2 ladies that did it. I swear he seemed like an off-duty cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, these are the 2 ladies that did it. We saw it. They were punching each other.
Wow.
They hit the glass. And it's like everybody was stopping and watching this happen. The CMs went up to the ladies. There was like an exit door right there. They asked them to step aside and walk out the exit door. And what was great is a unanimous just cheer from the people in the line, because if you're a hardworking person, you paid a lot to go to Disney.
Sure did.
This isn't Six Flags. This isn't your run of the mill.
This isn't Fun Spot on Six Flags.
Fun
this ain't even
spot.
SeaWorld, motherfuckers.
You're there for a reason, and you spent a lot of time working towards bring your family there, and you don't want to get your experience ruined. And people go to Epcot not just for this one reason, but there's one major reason people go to Epcot, and it's for the best Disney ride of all the parks, and that's Cosmic Rewind.
Exactly.
And some people's experience almost got ruined, which was horrible.
These 2 Karens found each other in the wild and got themselves kicked out of, and hopefully a lifetime ban. I'll just say that. Anything else you want to say in the theme parks? And we're going to move it along here in our next segment.
Nope. Great experience otherwise. That was crazy. Can't believe that happened.
Yeah. Well, you're going to hear more from theme parks from us as we wrap this up. Kyle and I'll be at Hollywood Studios tomorrow. But something that made its way onto the Fourth Mother Box last time we had a podcast was just kind of happened out of nowhere, the Urban Dictionary phrase of the week, and that is becoming an official segment. So, making its debut on Scourge of Society is the official Urban Dictionary phrase of the week.
Give me a 3-way with dads.
What was that, Travis? What was that?
Give me a 3-way with dads.
Just making sure.
We're already getting fans of our new podcast.
We are. Thank you, Travis. It's the Urban Dictionary phrase of the week. So what's going to happen is Kyle's going to say a phrase, send me something to search, and I've got Urban Dictionary up here, and I'm going to read it on air and see how well I handle that.
So,
I'll search it.
For today's week, I'm going to ask you to research the Alabama Hot Pocket. And this goes out to our good friend Brad Hughes, who's from Alabama and who helped create this illustrious
that I believe
sexual position. So thank you, Brad.
All right. The Alabama Hot Pocket. The act of putting icy hot, Bengay, etc. on one's condom before intercourse.
I have a different definition.
Do you? Okay, I'll read this one anyway. This is usually used as a revenge, more as a practical joke. An excellent way to end someone's relationship. What is yours start with?
You could just
Okay,
read it.
okay.
This is way funnier.
Okay. The Alabama Hot Pocket is a special fetish maneuver that roughly involves taking a shit into a woman's vagina, typically followed by a good old fucking. The term Alabama originated from a lesser-known but crucial additional practice that involves Porky pigging the female who has received the Hot Pocket. In Alabama, you see, good old redneck boys, when bored, would fuck pig troghs or large wet piles of mud. To properly perform the Porky Piggin follow-up procedure, one must take a massive shit onto the vagina without spreading the lips. Wait a second. To properly perform the Porky Piggin follow-up procedure, one must take a massive shit onto the vagina without spreading the lips. Oh my God, we are far into it today. This creates a core that enters... Jesus Christ, that enters the... that enters the woman and then dregs that... Wait. This creates a core that enters the woman and then dregs that explode out all over her. By randomly stabbing with the cock, one will successfully Porky Piggin the girl, repeating, naturally, the action that would normally be associated with screwing a pile of mud or animal tro. Okay, we're done with that one. Jesus Christ.
And we're 10 minutes in, and we're already canceled. All right.
We were canceled before that. Oh, Kyle, I've got good news. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because our next segment is... I fucked that one up. Our next segment is... a MetallicA segment. If you know Kyle, if you know me, I mean, fuck, I'm calling myself Metallica for God's sakes. We are the biggest Metallica fans you are ever going to meet. We're both wearing Metallica shirts right now. I'm loaded with Metallica tattoos. We've seen them both well over 50 times probably between the two of us. Now, I know some people out there have 70 shows to their credit, hundreds, maybe thousands of shows. My life just didn't afford me to be able to go that many, but I'm trying to make up for it now. So we're going to fucking talk about Metallica, Kyle. How do you feel about that?
I always talk about Metallica.
Let's go. This is our number one band. Well, this is really the only band I go see in concert anymore, just with how life is going. Kid, work, all that other shit. It's the only band I go to see concert, drop large coinage on them. The boys are about to go on tour, Kyle, and can you believe 72 Seasons is almost 2 years old?
2 years old. That's pretty crazy. I know you have the same question as everybody else does on the planet. When is the next Metallica album?
Yeah. I mean, they average, what, about like 8 years or so? They tour, they record, they tour, they record. I don't know. Hardware.
They should hook up with Dream Theater because they get a good system going. They should follow that shit.
Mm-hmm. Hardware to Self-Destruct was 2016, and 72 Seasons was 2003, so that's 7 years. So maybe we'll get this one in 6 years?
Or 2025.
Yeah, I did. I mean, they did surprise drop 72 Seasons with Lux Eterna. I mean, we had an idea they were working on stuff, but didn't have an idea, didn't really know when it was coming.
They recorded a lot of shit over COVID, and they didn't even go to each other's house. You could do that shit now.
I know, but Metallica's pretty old school. They're not going to sit there and record over Zoom and shit to get shit. I mean, they did the Black in 2020, and they even when they promoted Darkness Had a Sun, they all were playing it from their homes and zooming on TikTok. But I'm excited for their tour to kick back off, especially during when it starts in the late spring and summer. 'Cause when Metallica comes to a town, it's very much a vibe. So on April 19th, that's a week from Saturday, a week from today, as Winston leaves the office. A week from today, they play in Syracuse at the GMA Wireless Dome. Looks like tickets are sold out, so good luck if you don't have tickets to that. It's just the one show.
They're doing the Black Sabbath show, too, right?
They are.
The final Black Sabbath.
That's true. That is on. Let's see. I'm looking on their tour. I'm going down. Birmingham, England. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham,
September?
England. July 5th, 2025.
That would be my gut. I think Ozzy is only going to be in a chair doing it, but
Yes.
there's so many bands on that ticket. That would be a legendary of
I
all
know.
legendary shows.
It really would.
Metallica and Black Sabbath. Holy fuck.
The final one, yeah. Yeah, that'd be a show to go to. You better believe whenever Metallica says this is our final show, 'cause you know they're going to do a huge weekend in San Francisco. I'll be there 2 weeks ahead of time.
I don't even want to think about that.
I know, neither do I, but I'm just saying I'm going to be there.
30 years of fan. I've been a fan since I was 10 years old. Just,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, 30 years.
It's going to happen eventually.
Fuck.
It sucks. It sucks. I mean, it sucks to think about, but it's just the nature of the beast. So after that, they kick off like their weekend takeover, their no repeat weekends, as Metallica is calling it. This is cool. I really like when they do the no repeat weekends. If you go to both shows, which I would highly recommend you doing, if you're doing it in the area that you're attending, is go to both because you're not going to hear the same song twice. They play similar set lists from city to city, but that doesn't bother me. We're the ones who decide to go see them in multiple cities. That's on us. If they're coming to the city, people want to hear those songs, They want to hear Sandman, Puppets. Nothing else matters.
I'm at a point now with my fanship that they could play anything and I would be fine with it.
Yeah.
Whatever list they come out with, even if it was like the B-sides or whatever, or
Sure.
like the deep cuts, as Lars would so eloquently say,
I love the deep cuts, yeah.
I would listen to it. Whatever they want to do, I'd be happy. I would be like, oh, they didn't play other Sandman. I'd be like, give me that fucking Ronnie.
Yeah.
Thorn
Yeah.
Within.
Yeah,
fucking
play all of Load.
Purify.
Play all of Load and Saint Anger just to piss people off.
No
So,
Lulu.
They'll be in
Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
They'll be in Toronto April 24th and 26th. And then after that, they'll be in Nashville May 1st, May 3rd.
They're playing at Tim's wedding, too, I believe. He sent them an invite,
I
so
saw
I
that.
assume that they will be there and play a show for us.
Yeah, they better. I'm going to lock you in the bathroom so you don't get to meet them.
They don't want to meet you and your fucking
Yeah, because they already did.
tattoo on your arm, you fucking mark.
They all loved it. Every single one of them said they loved it.
No.
Yep, especially Lars.
They made
And
fun
then he
of
said
you.
they love your mother. Blackbird, Virginia on May 7th.
Nothing has changed,
Nope,
ladies and gentlemen.
Nope. And then they're going to Columbus, Ohio, May 9th and 11th. Pennsylvania, May 23rd, May 25th. Washington, D.C. for a random show, May 28th. I don't remember why they're there. Is it a...
They're playing for the Trump
Best?
administration.
Yeah, right. Then they're in Charlotte, North Carolina, May 31st for a random show. Bank of America Stadium. Yeah, that's right. I know some of them, they were just doing single shows. That's right. I remember that. And then Atlanta, June 3rd. And then the most important of the shows, Kyle, are the ones in Tampa, Florida, June 6th and 8th. I'll be there.
yeah.
We'll be reporting from there, too. Houston, Santa Clara. After that, Denver, the show Kyle mentioned. Then they go back to Australia, finally. I know the Australia fans have been up Metallica's ass until the left to get back there after their shows were canceled because of COVID. And that pretty much rounds out the year for their tour through November 19th. So just like Kyle said, new music after that, please. Well, I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when we feel like talking about Metallica, that's what you get out of these segments.
I think, the good thing about being a musician is, like, maybe you get advanced on in your years, but, there's something therapeutic about every stage of life, where you can express that in the form of music. And the past couple years, man, has been real turbulent for the world, and it doesn't seem like there's any signs of slowing down.
No.
And I think the world tends to heal and come together in a united way through music. I mean, it's one of the ways that is certainly, is very healing and, therapeutic for people. So what I'm basically trying to say is, everybody, the world needs Metallica. We need new Metallica. And it's not too much to ask, I don't think.
It's not. It's not too much to ask, Kyle. You nailed it. So, speaking on the topic of Metallica, I'm bringing in a very old segment back that actually was born on my very first podcast called Ginger Snaps. Both the segment and the name of the podcast. I pick a topic to bitch about because I am a ginger. Shut up, Kyle. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, you lost your DAS pass at Disney. Like, why isn't being a ginger considered a disability? I mean, they should consider it because, let's face it, nobody likes gingers. Nobody wants to be a ginger. And it's like the old school lepers. They should be cast out of society.
Being your friend should be a disability. To be completely honest with you.
That's pretty accurate.
So I am bringing Ginger Snaps back, where I just pick a topic and bitch about it for the week.
He's gonna talk about how his cheeks get rosy.
Will you let this segment fucking start? This is why this is why nobody likes us. It's because you. So shut the fuck up for a second. God damn. I'm gonna start
His cheeks are already rosy.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about it.
I got a problem with Kyle. Is really who I have a fucking problem with. Jesus Christ. It's like, if things weren't off the wall with him in here right now, like the wallpaper would just crumple up just because he walked in. The pale feel of death. It's just Kyle and his snowy vanilla Menchies.
That's good shit.
I'm raging on. Speaking of Metallica, Kyle, some of their fans, the old head fucking Metallica fans, so in 55 days, I will be seeing Metallica for the 23rd and subsequently 24th time in my history in Tampa, Florida. Those who know me know that my personality sometimes is this band, or really all the time it's this fucking band. My tattoos, I have a tattoo sleeve of all the albums, but every time I go to a concert, I'm always met with a handful of the same type of fan who comes up to me and they're like, they was shit after the Black Album. And if you don't understand Southern Alabama, it's just some meth coked out white guy coming up to me telling me that they hate everything after the Black Album.
Brad Hughes.
It's the same type of guy every single time. They're divorced once at least, early 60s meth-riddled man who's barely hanging on to his meager existence. What the fuck are you wearing that bandana for? It doesn't make you look tough, and it makes you look like you can't come within 200 feet of minors. Now, I understand that you took out that title loan on your 1981 Ford Pinto to buy this ticket, but it doesn't give you the right to talk to that 18-year-old girl like you have a shot. And don't just think that's a joke. I saw that happen in Daytona at Welcome to Rockville. Sit down, Grandpa. You peaked in high school and you can kiss the fattest part of Rikishi's ass. What is it with the mentality that these older fans have, thinking that they have to dictate their way? You know all of these mugwumps are posting shit like "End Woke America," but they'll fucking cry if something doesn't go exactly like they think it should. You shouldn't be at the concert to begin with because you knocked up a crack whore and you old back child support. Let other people like what they like. If you come to a concert, have a good time. Buying a ticket does not give you the right to shame other fans for liking music for performers that you don't like. Now take a step back and let others enjoy. You might want to head out to that parking lot because they're repossessing your car. So fuck you, old head Metallica fans.
Well said.
Have you ever run in with these guys who just tell you like everything after the Black Album's terrible? And they're just like, yeah, man, I saw him in the Whiskey A Go-Go back in 82.
You know,
shut up.
You know, my experience with Metallica fans is like I sometimes don't even want to talk to people in general just because, you don't want to hear, you almost, like you were saying, you can almost predict what they're going to say. And I just feel like I'm just there to support the band. You know, I've long history of loving the band, and you're exactly right. There are those fans that they're so predictable with what they're going to say, and you know they cut their hair, Napster, sold out, blah blah blah. You know that James's voice, Lars's drumming, Kirk's soloing.
We'll have to talk one of these segments on Master. We should talk about the shit that we've had to all the shots we take and spit right back at them. We should talk about that. But I'm actually really excited about our next segment. Kyle, this is really something that you had spearheaded and taken into a different direction. Something we've taken the show in a different direction. We talked a little bit about it on one of the Fourth Mother Boxes. But
this is the diarrhea segment. We're going to talk about diarrhea for 5 minutes.
It's a mental health segment that we have unnamed yet. Maybe we should call it the unnamed feeling.
Fuck yeah, we're calling it that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the debut of the Unnamed Feeling.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
Kyle, this one's all you, man. This is a mental health segment. The Unnamed Feeling.
Yeah, I thought this would be a good segment to add in because we had a good conversation back in the fourth Mother Box about this topic, and I feel like it's just needed in today's world. And, in my background and for the new people who are new to this podcast or haven't listened to fourth Mother Box, I am a therapist. I've been one for 14 years. I have my solo practice. I've seen a number of different clients from a number of different age ranges and backgrounds. But, I thought this was like a good topic to talk about. So today, one of the topics I wanted to talk about is something we can all relate to. And it's people in politics. And the reason I think this is a great mental health topic, because I feel like if we rewind back to maybe the 90s, the early 20s, hell, even maybe 2010, everybody's conversation didn't revolve around politics. And now you can't have a conversation about anything because it always comes back to politics. If I said, Tom, let's have a conversation about The Simpsons. The Simpsons is a show that's been on for 30 years. It is primarily there for comedy purposes, but I guarantee you it will come back to politics. Oh, Lisa's too woke.
It's too liberal, yeah.
It's too. They're making fun of the MAGA people, and to be fair, some of the shows they do that. It's in your face, but you can't have a conversation about things that are just enjoyable, and I think it just causes people a lot of distress, in the sense that like they can't get away from it. It's the wheel that's always turning, and it's always in your face, and life is a little bit more stressful nowadays. People are working multiple jobs, more hours. They're spending less time away from their family. Mm-hmm. I see this, with clients from this has been a trend for the past couple years. Burnout is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's just important to remember that it is good to take a break from that shit. Mm-hmm. And if people can't, or if they're around people that can't do that, they need to find a different setting. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've all are certainly guilty of this at times.
Oh,
because, the media does a really good job at sucking you in. But it's okay to take a break. This is why Tom and I do this podcast. We talk about things that, we love and we're passionate about. And, hey, we spent the last 4 years without talking about politics.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
it's really therapeutic, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And so, Tom, what has been your experience with that? I mean,
sometimes it's tough to enjoy things. I want to point out Andor specifically. That show is very societally charged, and yes, it's politically charged at the same time. But the problem is, I see a lot of people who watch that, they glom onto it like, oh, that's a leftist show, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's more me. This is a centrist show. This is an anarchist. This is a libertarian. This is like a fuck government-minded person. This isn't like the left versus right kind of thing, because people who are on one side of the spectrum always thinks it's about the other, and that's what makes it tough. It's tough sometimes to enjoy things. That's why unplugging and being ignorant to it is a practice that sometimes I just have to do, and it's I just want to sit down and watch Andor, and I'll make the connections that I make with it, like Nemec, the guy with the manifesto who talked about oppression is the mask of fear, and it's like, always try. Every time I hear that, it means something to me, but I know somebody else watches that and listens to that. It means something different to them too, and that's fine. But it's just, I don't want, I see it on Reddit all the time, and it's just people are like, this is a leftist show, this is about Trump, and it's like, this is about more than just one thing, And first, also at the end of the day, it's a Star Wars show.
Fuck yeah.
It's about the rise of the rebellion. So, but you're absolutely right. The people will always bring it up. You name it, you throw it against the wall. And some media tends to get away with it because they just make fun of everybody, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and they like politics are in it, but y'all are going to get called out.
You know, too, and like it's surprising, like because I started, in private practice in maybe 20. I graduated in 2011, but I was like, probably like 2015 is when I really got into private practice, and there was just none of these issues that people talked about. I feel like more of my clients just talk about something political, the person that's in power that they don't like, or
it's more in our face.
And it's like, I feel like I should have a class in just like, helping people and deal with politics. And it's kind of ridiculous because at the end of the day, like Tom said, you can disconnect, you can unplug, you can focus back into your life and the things that matter, like your friends, your family, Star Wars TV shows, things that you love. And I think, at the end of the day, you're a lot happier for it.
Absolutely. Yep. And these things are escapism too. Like Andor's escapism, like The Simpsons are. This podcast is, and this is the most we'll probably ever talk about politics, right? People who know me truly know how I feel about where I stand with politics, so on and so forth. But you're not going to get that from us necessarily. But it's just unplugging's okay, and let people unplug. Let people. That's another thing. I feel like people get shamed for staying away from it. It's like, oh, you're not paying attention. You don't know what so and so's doing to so and so. It's like, that sounds awful, and I care, but I have to control what I can control in my own world here.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant statement. There is like, you might not have control over the rest of what's going on in the world, but you do over your own world.
Yeah,
and and we could certainly dedicate probably 3 podcasts to this this concept. But I think too, it's like some people are so charged and they can't let it go. And I just think like just let them have it. It's okay to just say, what, I don't agree with this person. What they're saying is crazy, but I don't have to sit here and try and change them. I can go back into my world, that makes me happy.
I used to go in there and pick the fights. And then one day I just stopped. What's the point? Yeah. You're not going to change anybody's mind.
It's wasting your hate and wasting your energy.
That's exactly right. You got anything more to say on that topic?
Oh, I have so much more to say on that topic. But, it's okay to disconnect. And that's, I think, the message we're promoting.
One of the best things to disconnect is by getting comic books and going over to cartercomics.com and using the promo code, Kyle, Motherbox, all one word. Because we're a part of the FreakNet Studios family. We're very happy to do so. Thank you, Travis T, over at Just Freaking Wrestling Podcast, the JFW Podcast on YouTube and Instagram, and Just Freaking Wrestling on Facebook. But you're going to go to cartercomics.com, use the promo code Motherbox, and get 10% off your order, free shipping. It's also available on their eBay. Raw and graded comics. Use them to disconnect from the world that's shoving the politics. They're dripping it down your throat again because you're coming up for air. Use the promo code Motherbox. And that is from our old podcast, The Fourth Motherbox. But The Fourth Motherbox is not dead, Kyle, because we still want to talk about politics. So if you may, or not politics, we want to still talk about, God damn it, it's on my mind, Trump! And we still want to talk about comic books. And there's something huge from DC that we're going to watch and talk about. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Fourth Motherbox. That's the theme song.
Tom is clearly failing.
Failing on the first podcast. Welcome into the Fourth Motherbox. Second try.
I bet your parents taught you that you mean something. That you're here for a reason. My parents taught me a different lesson. Dying in the gutter for no reason at all. They taught me the world only makes sense if you force it to.
Let's talk about DC Comics specifically, Kyle. Fourth Motherbox is going to mainly be that.
Fuck yeah.
But we got a giant almost 5 minute drop of Superman.
Yeah.
Called Superman Sneak Peek. We got it 9 days ago. So let's. Hell, I've watched this. You've watched it too. But we're gonna watch it together and just kind of react together. So we're on YouTube right now, and I'm hitting play now. DC Studios logo. Sucks already. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They're obviously on. Well, they're near the Fortress of Solitude.
I bet your parents taught you.
We saw this. We saw this part. Him crashing into the snow in that first trailer.
My parents taught me a different lesson.
Yeah, you got to wonder who or what did that to our boy in the blue.
Lex, I assume. Possibly Doomsday. Bizarro Superman. Or Ben Affleck again.
You know, we really don't know who the villain is other than Lex in this film, and we have to assume there's maybe more than one.
Of course. So here he is. His ass is handed to him, and he's whistling.
I've got to say, like, a lot of people criticize this, but I like the sense of humanity to him, because, like, showing him like this shows he's not this invincible, invulnerable human being.
That's literally the exact problem everybody had with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Was that he was too human, though.
But that's how you
Now
connect.
Crypto's beating the shit out of him.
Because he's boring when he's just when you know he's going to win, and you know when he's, like, can't be defeated.
Oh, sure.
It's just boring.
I completely agree.
And this shows, like, the humanity. And there's nothing wrong with Henry Cavill Superman. And
he's the best Superman to date on screen. Come at me, bitches.
100%. So keeping that going is great.
Crypto's adorable, and now he's going to pull Superman to the Fortress of Solitude.
I think Winston should have been Crypto. He should have auditioned for Crypto.
Yeah, and he should have gotten paid like $4 million for the role. This dog looks CGI.
Is he CGI or is he
No,
real?
I mean, he's a real dog that they use, that I'm sure they use in shots, but this right here with him just looks a tad CGI to me. I'm very impressed with the look of the Fortress of Solitude. It's very comic booky.
Yeah. They were saying this, some reviewers were saying this movie is very much comedy and serious. They likened it to Guardians of the Galaxy meets Wonder Woman. And I do like that in a sense, but I also feel like they should be...
I just don't want to Marvel my DC. Like,
I don't want it to be Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel is great. It's so good on its own.
Right. There's got to be a natural contrast.
I get the robots. I know where they're from, but it just looks. I just don't know what it is about them right now. I'm not there yet.
I mean,
the robots picking them up.
I'm not bothered by the robots. It's pretty like core to Superman. They have no consciousness whatsoever.
That's Alan Tudyk, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I've got a. I hate that this is a problem, but I do have a big problem right here, and I wonder if you have this problem too.
Where he's getting he's healing with the sun.
The way he reacts. When have we ever seen Superman like struggle to regain strength? Do you remember when in both the comics and Batman vs Superman, Superman got nuked? And he was hanging up in space, and he regenerated sitting right there. It's just the whole gist about it is he's Superman, but I very much look forward to seeing the movie.
I love the music in this. I love
the music's great.
The trailers are just so cut well, and even if the movie is terrible, this trailer will always be great. This is the movie people need right now because the world is in darkness and people need the hope, and which is Superman is the perfect beacon for that.
Of course, he absolutely is. And they're going to be introducing a bunch of new here. I mean, we know who the heroes are. Like there's Green Lantern.
Mr. Terrific is definitely new.
All right, Superman, July 11th, 2025.
Yeah.
I like the logo. Only in theaters. Yeah, go see this in theaters, folks. Okay? Go see it in theaters. So what's your immediate reaction to that? I know we were talking about it there, but what do you think? Are you more hyped? Are you same hyped? Are you feeling a certain way?
I mean, I'm still hyped about the same. I think, I'm ready to see this. I think I really want it to do well. I really want it to be what I'm thinking it will be. Again, I really feel like it's going to be the beacon of hope that the world needs, and a good display of how shattered the world feels and people feel, like we were kind of talking about. So I really hope that, again, this is DC needs a fucking win, man. DC needs to be set on the right track.
Yep.
We could even say superhero films need to be reset.
I've said that forever, that the comic book movies hinge on Superman's success right now.
And let's not forget, and we've talked about this in the past, Superman, Christopher Reeves' Superman saved DC from being canceled forever.
It's a great point. Can it do it again? I mean, DC's not in any trouble being canceled. They dominate video games. They dominate comics. They dominate animated. So
yeah, I mean, again, the debate rages on is whether we have superhero fatigue or it's just writing fatigue. I'm more in the camp of Hollywood sucks and they just can't. I think they squeeze out different writers. I really feel like there are great people out there, really creative writers out there, but they just don't get a seat at the table.
Sure.
There's too many hands in the pot. And that needs to stop, because you can make some great movies. You can really write some great superhero, in particular, stories that people are going to love and connect with and want to see more of.
What do you want the most out of this upcoming Superman movie by James Gunn?
I certainly, for me, I like the humanity piece, and for the thing that I feel like the most I want from it is not only like a good action movie, but like, a meaningful one. I want to walk away from the theater like some of the other movies I've seen in the past, and be thinking about it for the next couple of days. I don't want it to be your like flavor of the week superhero film. I want it to have a meaningful statement. I want to really be excited about the future.
Generational, right? That's a term that comes to mind. You want it to be a generational movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is reestablishing establishing a new DC universe, connected universe, which will have Batman, which will have Superman, Green Lantern, all the ones we know, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash. We got to get to that point, and you start with Superman. You start with Superman. It's pretty simple to do that. I think you could start with Superman or Batman, but that's neither here nor there. We very much look forward to it. Now, on the opposite side of things, that the Superman seems to be trending up. What's trending down is I keep hearing rumors about the Batman Part 2. Now, the newest rumor is Matt Reeves is battling a Chadwick Boseman level personal issue right now, they say, and
really? I
Part 2 might be pushed back because of it. That was a rumor. It was simply a rumor that I saw. I don't know that for certain, but I just don't get the sense that Part 2 is going to be made anytime soon.
It is odd that it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It is. Even Robert Pattinson came out and said recently that, when this movie comes out, he'll be too old. And he's our age.
It's the truth. Oh, is he's late 30s?
He's 86, I believe. So, I don't know. I really feel like to be successful, you got to strike when the iron's hot, and because culture moves so quickly, and the stories can fade, and especially with the onset of the DC universe with Superman, they should have had this movie out already. They should have been working on Part 3. Part 3 should be out in 2026.
Yeah.
And that should close the trilogy here. But now we're so lost in like this again, this movie came out in 2022. Like fuck.
You and I saw it in Chicago. March. I was out for my sister's wedding. And my sister's had two kids since then. So
there's no excuse for it, because especially even with a Batman movie, I'm not trying to say I understand CGI and effects, but holy fuck, I defer to the Spider-Man example. There was a Spider-Man movie, every 2 years.
There was.
Marvel did it, and the movies were good for the most part.
Man.
Say what you will, but they were successful. I personally enjoyed them. I didn't think they were bad, and I think Tom Holland did a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited for Brand New Day that's going to come out, and I think next year.
Is that 26 or
26? I think it's 26. I
Really?
believe.
Wow.
I hope
When's
so. I hope so.
Doomsday coming out? When's Avengers Doomsday coming out?
Next year.
And this movie's taking place during or after? I don't know.
The fuck if I know. Nobody knows anything about what the story is in Marvel right now.
It's true.
I got kind of a bone to pick with Marvel and Daredevil too.
Yeah. Go ahead. We can do it here.
Daredevil has returned, and while the story I would say is pretty good, there's no action. There's very little action in
Just
this.
like your prom night, yeah.
That's dumb. That was dumb.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know, like the whole he's not in his suit the whole time. He's not Daredevil. He's just Matt Murdock, attorney at law. And it's like, I'm just waiting for they were saying like, oh, this show's real brutal, this real bloody, and there's been the action scenes here and there, but it's just doesn't feel like a superhero show to me.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're missing the mark on this. For fuck's sake, it's like, I'm tired of waiting. They did this in the first season of Daredevil, and that made sense then. But this is we know this character.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's they're kind of dragging it out a bit too far. So
That's a shame. I feel like you can get away with that stuff in movies, but series, it's like, all right, every week he's still not in the suit yet. He's still not hitting people. It's like, get to it.
The other thing is in the fights that he is in, he's getting his ass kicked. I'm just where's the special superpower of him?
Yeah.
And I'm saying this with love because Daredevil, the first 3 seasons, is one of my favorite. I think it's the best TV show.
Sure.
Superhero TV show to date.
Cough the penguin cough.
That too, fuck. It's Marvel just needs to fucking get their shit together.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, we have to wait for a story to flesh out too. So, is it done yet?
It's almost done.
Okay.
I think it's got 2 more episodes.
Okay. Well, it's WrestleMania season, and I tend to be a wrestling fan. Kyle used to be back in the day, not so much now, but I'm following the WWE enough. I just want to talk about it, especially since it's around wrestling time. And so, yeah, this is our WWE segment we'll call The Turdle Sucks.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah, you're just going to say that?
Just say, call it The Turdle Sucks.
All right, here we go. Debut on Scourge of Society. The Turdle Sucks.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Understand, when you step in the ring, your arms are just too short to box with God.
It is WrestleMania season. And I'm going to run down the card and just tell you what I'm excited about. Because next weekend, WrestleMania Night 1 will be just getting ready to get started. What is its start time of? It doesn't say here. That's all right. 6 or 7 Eastern, some bullshit like that. But I'll be up all night watching all of them. So Night 1, Saturday, April 19th. Kyle, I don't even know if you know any of these names outside of probably Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and CM Punk. But we got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. That's a women's match.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't know who that is. Jade Cargill is going to mop the floor with Naomi. Everyone keeps talking about them having to protect Jade. I don't know how good she was in AEW and how much she's learned on her break, but
It doesn't matter what your name is.
thank you, Dwayne. Jade, it was cool to see her debut at the Royal Rumble that I was at live because people were pretty happy about that. So we've got Rey Mysterio versus not Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. I don't know how this match doesn't become mask versus mask. I hope El Grande Americano wins. War Raiders versus New Day. Give the straps to the New Day. United States Championship, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I don't see any way LA Knight walks out of here with the championship. Kyle, right? Don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. You look so bored out of your mind. I promise we won't do WWE all the time. I just want to fucking talk about it now, you cock. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Who do you think's going to win that match?
Charlotte Flair.
No, fuck no. Fuck no. She is in some hot water, supposedly. She brought up the the two of these women apparently have heat backstage, or they're just not seeing eye to eye. I don't know, some bullshit like that. So they had a promo a week and a half or 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. It just fell apart, and Charlotte Flair started making fun of Tiffany Stratton's voice. So Tiffany went personal and said something like, "Oh, is that why you're 0-3 in divorces?" And she rolled out of the ring and walked away. And then Charlotte's screaming at Tiffy, her real life boyfriend. He's like, "Oh, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs, huh, Tiffy?" And then it was like enough to where WWE didn't put it on their YouTube. Now with wrestling, you have to think everything's a work. So small chances to work, but at the same time, I don't think so. At least I choose not to think that.
You know, it's interesting. I would have to wonder, like, how far are they pushing the envelope? Because back in the 90s when I watched it in the Attitude Era, there were some things where they pushed the envelope on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm remember, like, Miss Kitty flashing her boobs and, like, you know, certain comments being made.
Oh, sure. Yeah. DX did blackface.
Did he really?
Or X-Pac did, I think. Triple H might have, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, whoever was portraying the Nation of... Yeah, because DX was portraying the Nation of Domination. They did blackface back in the Attitude Era. Yeah, sure did. I know.
Wow.
I know, not good. I mean, but Vince McMahon, as we obviously know, is a pretty fucked up individual, so...
Yeah, is he in... he's still litigating, or, I mean, is he free? I mean...
I think he's paid money, probably. I don't know. I don't know if he's got a trial. Who the fuck knows?
He's got some allegations against him.
He's probably taking dumps on people's chests, just like the allegations stated. Night one, the rest of the night one card, we have Gunther, who I want to win, but I just don't conceivably see how Jey Uso doesn't walk away with this. He's like one of the more popular stars in WWE right now. So unfortunately, Gunther, the strap will be taken off and going to Jey, but maybe Gunther can feud with whoever wins the WWE Championship. And finally, the main event, Kyle, of night one. CM Punk will defeat Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Although my brain is telling me Seth Rollins is going to win that match. I just wish CM Punk wins. So, you saw CM Punk back in the day before he was anything big.
Yeah, he walked right by us.
Yeah. Back in
Crestwood.
Crestwood, yeah, for LWF. And then you and I saw him lose a championship at the Royal Rumble to The Rock.
Yeah, that was awesome.
2013. Night 2 WrestleMania, real quick. Sin City Street Fight, Drew McIntyre versus Priest. Drew should win that match. I hope AJ Styles mops the floor with Logan Paul. Women's tag team match, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I assume Liv and Raquel are going to keep the straps. Maybe another Bayley heel turn, potentially, and they feud for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know. Men's Intercontinental Championship fatal 4-way Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. I got a feeling they'll put the strap on Dominic here. I really hope Finn wins. Women's Championship, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. You probably don't know any of those people.
Nope.
I think Io is going to retain. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes. I know you know that name.
Yep.
Versus, and I know you know who John Cena is.
Yep.
So heel John Cena with The Rock, soul to soul to The Rock. This is the main event of the main event.
Speaking of John Cena, you know, Peacemaker season 2 was done.
It is.
And it's going to debut
later this year.
Later this year. So I'm really looking forward to that.
August maybe? Can't remember what I saw. But, man, I'm so torn on who's winning this match. But I'm going to say Cody. Although John Cena would make a lot of sense too. So there you have it, Kyle. Wrestling. Yay. Fuck you. Who was your guy back in the day in the Attitude Era? Like the guy who was besides Crash Holly.
It's hard not to pick The Rock, but I mean I feel like The Rock, Stone Cold, and The Undertaker always come to mind because they're so iconic.
Fuck yeah. All right, you ready for our final segment of the show?
Fuck yeah.
It's our awful Reddit segment of the week.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's the Reddit awful segment of
That's
the week.
such a great quote.
It's the best quote from Billy Madison. Another classic 90s. Kyle and I ate on City Walk at Bubblegum Shrimp today. So we were talking about Forrest Gump and life is like a box of chocolates. But Kyle, I'm going to read this story I pulled up on Reddit. See how long it is? This is from the subreddit called Confessions Gone Wild. This was posted a year ago by user SolutionOK21112. Okay. The subject, and it's not safe for work, by the way. I went through my girlfriend's sister's phone.
Oh, boy.
I went through my girlfriend's sister's phone. Regret confession. So let me start out by saying I completely know this was wrong and I regret it. A strong part of me does anyways. This is my first time doing a story, so bear with me. By the way, I have not read this yet, ladies and gentlemen. So my girlfriend, who's 26, and I have been together for over 4 years now. I wonder if they're still together. We have been moved in together now about a year and a half, but in that time we have allowed her younger sister, who's 19, to move in for a short term as we live close by where she is working currently. I get on really well with her sister, and she's great company to be around, great fun, and she's also quite a flirt when her sister is not around. Okay, there's a problem. She would give me compliments about the gym paying off and touch my arms or asking if her ass has gotten fatter from working out while in the skimpiest of biker shorts. She gets in my head, and then thoughts of screwing her, I'll say that, just flood my mind, and now because she lives with us, it happens more and more. I'd love to know your clinical take on this. So today, literally today, it was just me and her at home as my girlfriend was on shift work, and she asked me, could I take her to collect her food she had ordered from a restaurant? Her sister does not drive yet, and she can be quite a cheapskate with paying for delivery, so she always asks me to take her to collect it. Always I agree, so we drive there, and it's really cold this time of year where I'm from, and she didn't bring a jacket. When we arrive at the restaurant, she asked me, could I go in and collect the food as it's really cold and that I can pay for the food with Apple Pay on her phone. I said no problem, but asked her what the passcode is and or if I need her facial ID. She told me the passcode and off I went to collect the food. It's almost over. As soon as I left the car, my brain lit up and the horny urges I've had of my girl's sister took over. Oh, I'm not liking where this is going, Kyle. I went into the restaurant, sat down to wait for her food, but I was already going through her photo album without hesitation. Oh, this is so wrong. This feels wrong reading it. Clean it was. I went to Snapchat, instantly went to my eyes only section and thought her main password is 6 digits. Surely it's not the first 4. It was. I opened it and found at least 30, 40 videos of her in her underwear showing off her ass, fingering herself, going down on a man, riding a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff. Right, I'm just going to say it. Fuck it. Riding a huge dildo, getting fucked in a 3-way by 2 dudes who are African American, possibly. I say that like that because she has a boyfriend who is white. My mind couldn't handle what I was seeing, so there was so much there, and I got so worked up and decided to save all the videos and pictures and sent them to my iMessage. Oh my God.
Wow.
Saved them all to my phone and deleted the conversation from her phone. Oh my God. What kind of fucking scum of the earth is this? I was there for a good 20 minutes, even with the food going cold. He did this while he let the fucking food. Then I needed to see every last damn video and made sure I got all of them. Oh my God. I eventually got back to the car and the sister was puzzled as to why it took so long, but I just said there was a massive queue. I then went home, straight upstairs, and we can assume what he did, and he was very, very, thorough about what he wrote there.
Okay.
Now that a few hours have passed, I've realized what I've done is terrible. Yeah, it's post-nut clarity, dumbass. But at the same time, I get worked up every time I see your videos. Stop looking at them. Delete them off your phone. And I've come to realize how much of a slut my girl's sister is. That's not something you want to say. And I love it, but at the same time, it never leaves my head now. Thoughts on this? I'm going to hell. Peace.
So, first of all, wow. So tell me, like, I've actually never really used Reddit. I've never been on Reddit.
Yeah.
Do people what do people do on there? Like, do they just post their? Is it like just a blogging site? I mean, I have no idea. Legitimately.
There's subreddits. Think of them as like threads. It's like they post like posts, and it's just words. It could be pictures or videos. There's no picture of the people. It's just like a username. It's probably one of the easiest ways to hide yourself on the internet. Like, there's no picture. There's no really stats or anything. And you just Reddit kind of it's like a do-it-yourself kind of forum. It's we talked politically earlier. It's one of the more left-leaning apps, but it's still fun. Like, I pay attention to it for like UFO stuff, conspiracy stuff, because a lot of people will put stuff there. Like, I'm a nerd with flights now, and like I'm on the Flight 24 subreddit. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, but then there's a lot of this shit where people like confessions, because it's easy for them to make a throwaway account and confess this type of thing. So it's just like an online community forum of billions of people across the world.
So in one sense, like, maybe it's therapeutic for people to confess their like deepest, darkest secrets, so they can maybe in some sense alleviate their guilt.
Yeah.
On the other hand, this story is kind of hilarious.
It's funny as fuck and so wrong. Oh, that was so wrong, everything that guy did.
Yeah, you know what? Snapchat, I feel like, would ruin a lot of people's lives. I feel like if Snapchat saved videos and they somehow got hacked and released it to the internet, that would be there would be a big fallout from that.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, just I don't know what else to say. That's just people's problems and. Impulse control.
I can't even imagine what's on there.
What's like the impulse control mental health issue there?
Well, the thing about that is, like, I feel like the world of mental health is changing, and since I started, it has changed in a number of ways. For example, like when I started, nobody was talking about gender identity and some of these issues around like. Maybe like, well, that in particular, and I know that's like a political hot topic right now. So one of the newer ones is like sex addiction and porn addiction.
Sure, yeah.
Those are one of the things that are like on the rise, and I think our phones are partly to blame because
quick access
unlocked the internet in the world, and it makes it so easy to get sucked into an addiction. And depending on what you believe about the human psyche, we all have this shadow material in our mind, and it's not wrong to have it. We'll just say that because we all do. If you believe in the whole collective unconscious thing, we have that dark shadow material. And Tom and I, we wrote a Scourge song about it way back when, and so it's actually also the the meaning behind what Batman is. So it's like, you have this shadow material, but it's what you do that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's not who I am underneath what I do that defines me.
There you go.
And this is a kind of a classic example. I think a lot of people have the capacity for addiction. I think it's easy in this world. You have a quick fix. You have something that gives you a reprieve, or alleviates you from whatever the shit that's going on in your life.
Like drugs. It's a quick burn.
There's this saying in the world of mental health is that neurons that fire together wire together, and so the more you do something, the more your body just connects easily into it, and so to not do it, it makes it more difficult.
Ooh.
And so
could you reverse that?
Of course. Well, I think the cool thing about the brain is they call it neuroplasticity, and it's the idea that the brain has the ability to rewrite itself.
Sure.
With practice and the right influence, we'll say.
Absolutely.
Some things are harder though, because like if we look into the world of like personality disorders, there's certain fixed characteristics people might have. They might have a more challenging thing. And addiction in particular, if we're talking about that, there's, they've done brain scans where they talk about how certain brainwave activity correlates with certain types of addiction.
Oh, wow.
And it can be indicative of other things going on in the brain, but certain people it's just a lot harder for, because some people don't have that in their family history, so it just makes it.
Well,
like I don't feel like I have addiction other than like, God, I love chocolate. God, I love like soda. But like other than that, I never got into smoking or alcohol or anything like that. But I can understand it from, caffeine for sure. I mean, I can understand that from that perspective.
For sure.
Addiction is really fucking hard, and I think people in our society demonize it, but they don't understand the true layers of that onion.
Everybody's got their vice. People think addiction. They think crackheads, heroin addicts, meth addicts. Which, yes, those are people addicted, but also they have a problem. That's why they're addicted to that. So, well, shit. If you don't have anything more to say on that, I think that's been a pretty good first Scourge of Society episode there. Thanks for bearing with us during the first episode. While Kyle here is in person, he'll be in person as much as he can be. But
we're moving here, right?
Yes, you are moving here. So we called up to the sky, call up to the gods, and we reached out to the sky. We lost our souls along the way, but we didn't die yet, Kyle. So Scourge of Society is no longer in session. Follow us at Scourge of Society on Instagram, youtube.com/Scourge of Society. Thank you very much. We will be back and better than ever 1 week out.